Europa, the Phoenician princess, was in a distant kingdom bathed by the shining Mediterranean Sea. She was the daughter of King Agenor and Queen Telephassa and sister of Cadmus, who would later be known for founding the city of Thebes in Greece. The young Europa grew up in the fertile valleys and golden beaches of Tyre, a city famous for its wealth and vibrant culture. From an early age, Europa stood out among her contemporaries. Her hair, dark as the moonless nights, fell in soft waves over her shoulders. Her eyes, reflecting the depth of the sea, were windows to a soul full of curiosity and joy. Her laughter was like music to those around her, filling the palace's corridors with joyful melodies. Raised in opulence, Europa was admired not only for her physical beauty but also for her keen intelligence and gentle spirit. Despite her royal position, she treated everyone with equal respect and kindness, earning the affection and admiration of her people. Europa's days were spent between lessons from wise tutors and long hours in the palace gardens, where she loved to stroll and lose herself in thought. Her love of nature was evident. She especially enjoyed afternoons at the beach, where the touch of the wind and the waves made her feel at peace. Europa also had a great interest in the arts and sciences. She marveled at the stories of faraway travels and heroic deeds told by visitors from distant lands. Her mind was always open to learning more about the world around her. The princess was beloved by her family. Her father, King Agenor, considered her the pride of his kingdom. At the same time, her mother, Queen Telephassa, saw in her not only a daughter but also a close confidant and friend. Her brothers, Cilix, Phoenix, and Cadmus, were protectors and playmates in her childhood, forging a solid and loving family bond. On Olympus, Zeus, the ruler of the gods, watched the mortal world with curious eyes. Among the mortals, one young woman captured his attention like no other, Europa, the Phoenician princess. Her beauty was such that even the nymphs of the sea and the muses of art seemed to pale in her presence. Every day, Zeus watched her from on high. He watched her walk through the palace gardens, her laughter echoing like a melody that pierced the ether until it reached his ears. His fascination grew daily, and soon, he realized that it was not mere admiration he felt but a deep love. However, the king of the gods faced a dilemma. His wife, Hera, known for her zeal and cunning, would not look kindly on this new infatuation. Besides, Zeus knew his divine form might frighten or overwhelm the young mortal. He needed a plan to approach Europa without revealing his identity and provoking Hera's jealousy. He decided to take the form of an animal he could approach without revealing his divine identity. With his power, he transformed himself into a bull of glowing white. His coat shone in the sun as if made of light, and his horns looked as if they were carved from ivory. Despite his size and strength, the bull exuded a calmness and gentleness that captivated anyone who saw him. He descended to earth and joined a herd near where Europa used to roam. His appearance was so extraordinary that he stood out immediately, radiating an incomparable nobility. On that bright day, the beaches of Phoenicia shone under a radiant sun. In the company of her friends, Europa was enjoying herself on the seashore. During their amusement, a white bull of noble and majestic appearance approached them. This bull, Zeus in disguise, was remarkable for his coat that seemed to glow, and his eyes filled with profound wisdom. Europa, captivated by the noble presence and calmness of the animal, approached to touch him. The bull, showing exceptional serenity, bowed to her as if offering her to climb on his back. Encouraged by curiosity and amazement, Europa settled on the bull. Inspired by her companions, the animal moved away from the coast. Unexpectedly, Zeus, still transformed into a bull with great agility, headed out to sea, taking Europa away from her homeland. Initially surprised and somewhat fearful, the princess clung to the bull as they crossed the vast sea. Looking back, she watched her home fade into the distance, realizing she was being carried to an unknown destination. The journey across the sea dragged on, accompanied only by the sound of water and wind. Despite her initial reservations, Europa could not help but admire the strength and elegance of the bull. Once on the island of Crete, the white bull that had carried Europa across the sea began to change shape, revealing himself to be Zeus, the mighty king of the gods of Olympus. Surprised and fearful, Europa watched in amazement as the god took his proper form before her eyes. Zeus, seeing the shock and fear on the face of the Phoenician princess, spoke in soft, soothing words. He explained his true intentions, assuring her that there was no reason to fear and that she had been taken to Crete because of his love and admiration for her. To convince her of his good intentions and to calm her spirit, Zeus presented Europa with beautiful gifts. He promised her that she would be a figure of great respect and that her children would be leaders and heroes. He showed her the wonders of the island, its palaces, and temples, and promised her that she would be the queen of that splendid kingdom. Initially overwhelmed by these events, Europe gradually began to accept her new reality. Enchanted by the beauty and culture of Crete, she began to see the island as her home. She marveled at its scenery and learned to appreciate her new life and opportunities. After arriving in Crete, Europa became the mother of 3 sons with Zeus, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Sarpedon. Each of them would play a crucial role in Greek stories and myths. Minos stood out as a just and wise ruler of Crete, later associated with the legend of the Minotaur. Rhadamanthus was revered for his fairness, becoming a judge in the afterlife. Sarpedon, though lesser known, played a role in the history of the Trojan War. During his stay in Crete, Europe witnessed and was part of many beautiful events. The island, a center of advanced civilization and culture, was the perfect setting for his new life. Surrounded by majestic palaces and intricate labyrinths, Europa lived the life of a queen, respected and admired by the island's inhabitants. Eventually, Zeus, ever fickle and with numerous divine affairs to attend to, moved away, leaving Europa on Crete. However, his legacy and that of his children would live on through the centuries. Though estranged from her original home, Europa found new purpose and power in Crete. She married King Asterion, and under his reign, Crete reached heights of glory and prosperity. Meanwhile, Zeus, remembering how he had transformed himself into a bull to woo Europa, decided to eternalize that moment. He observed the sky and chose stars to form the constellation Taurus in memory of his bovine form during the conquest of Europe. This constellation would serve as a landmark in the sky, a guide for navigators and astronomers, and a representation of his union with Europa. In addition, the name Europa took on a broader resonance, as it was chosen to denote one of the world's continents. This choice reflected the importance and respect that Europa, the Phoenician queen, had acquired in Greek mythology and culture.